Today's Toy Spot, we're having a look at the Mezco Breaking Bad Heisenberg collectible figure. I'm so sad that Breaking Bad is over. Having seen, well, it's actually been a little bit, I guess, since the show has wrapped up. And it was so good that I've actually even considered going back and rewatching the series all over again. It's that good of a show. Take my word for it, if you have not seen Breaking Bad, you need to get on that right now. Up at the top corner, you see Walter White, as also depicted down below, I guess in more his Heisenberg alter ego. Breaking Bad featured on the front there as well. On the back of the package, Heisenberg collectible figure includes gym bag with money, hat, and sunglasses. Also look for Walter White bobblehead, as well as assorted plush dolls. Featured also down below there as well. This all comes to us from the folks over at Mezco at www.mezcotoys, that's toys with a Z.com. Extremely excited to get this one opened up. I'm going to take myself a break, going to get this opened, and when we come back, we're going to get a better look at Heisenberg. There's more heading your way, guys. Stay tuned. Included with Walter White, you get yourself a duffel bag of money. Not bad, actually. Not badly sculpted. The strap is just a staction piece. You can't move it or anything like that, nor can you actually open the handle. But you can see that the money is painted in nicely. A couple of elastic bands around some of the bills. It's a dense piece too. Like it's not hollow. It's not a soft piece. It's a hard plastic duffel bag with the money. Obviously, money is not removable. It is just one piece. So it does come with that. I was surprised to find the one other accessory that he came with was not packaged or not listed on the package. The other thing he does come with is his blue trademark crystal meth. It's in a little baggie. Looks like it's been partially opened. It's all right, but I don't get the scope that this is crystal meth. Not that Spot has any idea what crystal meth is, but I mean, based on the show, this to me looks like, as Spot just drops it, this looks like basically a block of ice. I would have preferred actually if it was more like a bag, not like a real bag, but something where you had the clear bag and then you actually could see something sitting at the bottom. It kind of looks like just the whole thing has been frosted blue. So while I do appreciate that they did include it, even though it wasn't mentioned on the package, it kind of seems that it could have been better, is what I'm thinking looking at this. But at least it's there. You can't really hold it in Walter's hand. You kind of just, no, you can't even really wedge it into his hand either, which is an issue that I'll get into in a second. So it kind of has to just sit to the side. You can't even really put it in the bag either. So included, yes, nice, but they could have done a little bit more with this. Speaking sadly of what they could do a little bit more with, unfortunately with Walter White here, you're kind of getting yourself a statue figure. I guess really when you're looking at the figure, he looks a little off. He looks a little stumpy, like all of his proportions are shrunken a little bit, while his head has stayed the same size. It's really a shame because I fell in love so much with the show and I wanted to get a Walter White figure. And I feel like I'm happy with the figure, but it could have been better. Very similar to the bag, very similar to the crystal meth. The figure could have been better, and I feel like it just wasn't. Because unfortunately what you're getting with this figure is you're getting a figure that has no arm articulation, no hand articulation, no waist articulation, no foot articulation, no head articulation either. What you see this figure is currently doing is what he can do. Now, in the positives end of it, I thought at least the glasses and the head, the fedora, or hat that he's wearing, I thought they were all pieces that were part of the sculpt. Luckily, no, you can take the hat off, and you can also take the glasses off too. Would I say that's a good likeness of Walter White? It's not bad. It's not bad. I'm frustrated though, again, because the head seems so much larger than the rest of his body. It's like for this size of body, this size of figure, this head should have been about that size, not the size that it ends up being, because it just makes it look very overly proportioned. At least this section here. Even right about there is fine, but when you start putting it on a small body, his legs look extremely short. And maybe even if the legs were longer, the torso actually is probably about the same size scaled to his head. The culprit is the legs. He is also sporting his side pistol. Unfortunately, though, it can't be removed. It's also a staction piece. I'd be curious as to know why Mezco acquired the license to do Breaking Bad figures, but didn't really actually give us a figure. It is really just a staction piece. I even thought, looking at the arms, that you could rotate the arms. It looks as if they're seamed, but you can't move them. They're just a sculpted on piece. Some nice details, like even in his ring, he's still got his ring that he's wearing there. And, paint's pretty good. And I'm happy with the sculpt of the face. It could have been a little bit better, but I think it's definitely the highlight of this figure. You ever have one of those situations where you get a figure and you know it's going to be the best it's going to get because, unfortunately, of who it's produced by? It's just a little disappointing. I feel as if had it only been a property that another company had acquired and gotten licensing for, we could have got ourselves some really cool Breaking Bad figures. I don't think the chances of NECA, for example, ever acquiring a license for Breaking Bad figures, I don't think that's ever going to really happen. So I would say, if you want a Walter White figure, the Mezco one is your best bet. It's just disappointing to think that this is what, again, if you ask me, is such a iconic show and such an iconic character who's really up there with the likes of a JR for one of the greatest characters in TV history. It's just a shame that his figure is slightly disappointing. Walter White, I'm going to give him, sculpt-wise, I'm going to only give him a 6.5. The fact that he doesn't have any articulation is a real strike for me. He could have at least, as I lost his glasses, you could have at least had it where his head could rotate, but sadly he doesn't even do that. Pick up this figure as something that you're more so going to have as a display piece and not something you're ever going to be able to put in different poses. Also, I don't think we ever got ourselves a Jesse figure, which, again, if something like this that a toy company can acquire the rights to, you feel like they would go a little more out of their way to produce something other than just this. I feel as if, and I really hate to say it, I really feel as if NECA had acquired these rights, we probably would have at least got a Jesse and Walter 2-pack or individual figures, and those figures would have been articulated and we would have got several versions of Walter White. We did get several versions of Walter White with Mezco, but it's very bare bones. Very bare bones indeed. Today's toy spot, it's really a shame. Today's toy spot, we're having a look at the Heisenberg figure. Get it if you like Breaking Bad, but unfortunately, it's one of those things where it could have been so much better. Stay tuned, guys. Spot's going to have more reviews and more videos heading your way. And as always, I'll see you next time.